Latin America is also gearing up for two key presidential elections. Political candidates in El Salvador and Costa Rica have been jockeying for position ahead of Sunday's vote. Joining me now for a preview of what's to come are Franc Contreras, who is live from El Salvador, and Nitza Soledad Perez, who is standing by in Costa Rica. Let's begin with Franc. Polls show that the economy and security are the key issues for voters in El Salvador. What can we expect?
Thanks, Susan. That's right. Those are the key issues that voters are looking at here now in this Central American nation, which is the size of the U.S. state of Massachusetts. At this hour, the country has gone into a quiet, sort of contemplative mode. There's a ley seca, so-called dry law, in effect at this very hour. It prohibits the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages in public places as Salvadoran voters prepare to choose their next leader. Though three main candidates are running for El Salvador's presidency, it's a race between two old political foes, the right-of-center Rene Party and the leftist FMLN, which now holds the presidency. Rene's candidate for the vice presidency, Rene Portillo, tells CCTV that his party, led by former Salvadoran Mayor Norman Quijano, plans to use the military to fight entrenched criminal gangs here.
The reality is, our country shows deep-rooted problems. Our citizens are concerned about gang violence because of drug trafficking and common crime, and most of all, because of our weak institutions.
That's a direct shot at the ruling left-of-center FMLN party. Critics say during the nearly 5 years that party has governed, crime rates have only gone up. During the campaign, FMLN presidential candidate Salvador Sánchez Serén, a former leftist guerrilla leader, said fighting poverty is the best way to stop criminal violence in El Salvador. As for the economy, all of the leading candidates agree more jobs must be created, but little is being said about raising wages for Salvadoran workers. Roberto Rubio directs a center dedicated to finding ways to develop El Salvador's economy. He says the candidates are not offering clear strategies for achieving economic gains.
You don't see a country with strong foundations or strong economic motors. The economy is moved by consumption, and it's one of the few countries in all the continent where consumption is superior to productivity.
Analysts say undecided voters will play a key role in deciding the outcome of this election. At this stage, no candidate appears to have enough support to garner 50% and win in the first round of voting. Observers tell CCTV that a runoff election is the most likely scenario that would take place in March, Susan.
Now, Frank, earlier this week, you had a report about a former president and an unfolding corruption scandal. Do we know any more now?
That's right. There is news now at this hour on this story. This is the story, of course, of former President Francisco Flores, who belongs to the right-leaning Rene Party. He was scheduled to appear for a fourth hearing before the Salvadoran Congress on allegations that he embezzled at least $10 million, Susan, money sent to this country from Taiwan. And remember, back in the Civil War that took place from 1980 to 1992, Taiwan was supporting the also U.S.-backed Salvadoran forces of the government that were fighting the rebels. And of course, this contest, this election this weekend is really the arena, the right-leaning party against the left-leaning party, the candidate for the FMLN. Now, the candidate, the president in question here, Francisco Flores, at this very hour, his whereabouts are unknown. The Salvadoran Congress has ordered police to find him and bring him back for more questioning, but again, no one knows where he is at this stage. Political analysts believe this could have a negative effect on the candidate of the Rene Party as voters go to the polls Sunday morning at 7 a.m. local time. Susan.
Franc Contreras reporting live in El Salvador.